So we're about to watch the Thor version of it. We'll see how this one necessarily goes a little bit in comparison to the Steve Rogers one. Um, Steve is in a different spot, obviously, than Thor. I was like, he went off, and I feel like when he went to deliver the stone, probably made more branches than anybody realizes because I always seen him was dancing with Peggy, and he come back and brings Sam the shield. But you gotta think that when he brought back each of the stones, that I know they said that if he brings them back at that exact time, that wouldn't create any branches. I was like, obviously he got the Peggy one, he got the baby, but I let's not act like he probably ain't do any other stuff that he ain't do. So let's check out the Thor and let's see what.
Father, all my life I have answered every call. To honor, duty, to war. But now fate has given me something I never sought.
Daily violence.
A child.
A child.
A life untouched by the storm. Learn to be the strength of the old fathers, so that I may fight once more, defeat one more enemy, and return home to her, not as a warrior, but as warmth, to teach her not battle, but stillness, the kind I never knew. Please, Father, heed my words.
Alright, so Thor will return. We all know. Obviously. Alright, so I do think that the difference between the Steve Rogers one and the Thor one is that I feel like the Steve Rogers one really is a tease, whereas the Thor one actually seems like something's going on. There's already a dilemma. He wants to, fight this. He wants to have the strength to fight this one last enemy so he can get back to his kid, but come back, but be done with it. It's not like he wants to be done with Thor being fighting wars and fighting battles and stuff. So I think it's a little bit clear that that maybe he's already fighting Doom or something in connection to that. Whereas like Steve Rogers' teaser was just to tell us, hey, you gonna get your boy back at some point. All right, cool guys. Whereas Thor, I'm not gonna lie. I think like for our projections, I think he lives, but that is the sort of the last thing you hear when someone's about to die. Like, oh, I'll retire in 3 days. I've already put in the paperwork. You're like, man, he's gonna die in 2 days. Yeah, that's how this sounds with Thor. But I like that one better just because I feel like it actually goes to something. Anyway, this is two. I decided to do this with the Steve Rogers Thor, OG Avenger. We'll hit the other one next. All right, cool. All right, so now we're here for the X-Men's will return, which is always like gonna be cool and funny just because it's like X-Men will return. Return from where? Well, if you ain't never seen the X-Men, you might be lost. But I was like, but this is the old X-Men of past, X-Men 1, 2, 3, where Kevin Feige, I don't think only in the first one that he was on. I don't think he was on the other two. But yeah, basically some of the OG superhero movies before there was what we know now. When there was Spider-Man at this time, Blade. I want to say that I believe that was it. We might have no. I think the Fantastic Four was also around with these as well too. Um, but yeah, the prequel to the cinematic universe that we got now. I wish that we would have got the crossover. I think it was going to be. I think it was at least going to be X-Men and Spider-Man in there. I don't know. I was like maybe, but either way, I was like been cool that have been the case. Anyway, let's hop in. Let's see what the X-Men are kind of doing at this point in stage.
Death comes for us all.
He came for Xavier like twice.
That's all I know for sure. The question isn't, are you prepared to die? The question is, who will you be when you close your eyes?
They're crazy. They always been over. Don't let you say it. You know, son gotta go be going crazy. I was like, Scott done took off the goggles. Man, you know, I was like, you know what's crazy? He over here about to unleash the beast of eye beams. I like son gone crazy. I was like, now what I want to know is where does this pick up after? Does it pick after X-Men 3? And the reason I say that is because they're playing chess. And if you remember that Magneto got the little injection stuff to turn him basically like to a regular person. But at the end, we see him playing chess and the little piece moved just a little bit. Just a little bit. And now you see him playing chess, he's able to move up the piece. It I was like, it didn't really look as fluid. Like, you know, like his strength is there. Granted, maybe they're playing into the fact that they're older, or he still ain't got his powers the way he used to have them, where he was like a super beast, where he was moving up bridges with ease and whatnot. You know, but maybe he just got like a touch of it, and it's playing at that. Maybe it starts at that. I was like, we won't know. Obviously, this ain't the Xavier from Multiverse of Madness, cause that one died. It's not the one from Logan, cause that one died. Um, so it'd be interesting to see of which one of like where they place this at as well too, because technically Logan isn't connected at the same time to any of those either. But anyway, all right, we'll check out the. All right, the last one. I was like, funny that this one doesn't really have a name to it. It's just Doomsday, but this is the whole Wakanda one. I like that's the only one I know of. I know it got Shuri and all them other people in it. So we're gonna take a gander, see what this one's about. I'm not gonna waste your time. Let's get into it.
I've lost everyone that matters to me.
Like Thor.
The king has his duties to prepare our people for the afterlife. I have mine.
King M'Baku of Wakanda.
Ben, Yancey Street, between Broome and Grand.
Okay. All right. So that one is the most intriguing out of all of them. Like I said, the X-Men's one is intriguing because you don't know where in their stories left off and how and their incorporation here. You sort of got a better idea. We know about the Wakandas and all them. Fantastic Four, we know they're technically coming over and from the Thunderbolts and stuff like that. So we do have an idea how they sort of is here. But the fact that they're meeting with the Wakandas, and I was looking at the place, and I'm like, it looks desolate. It looks deserted. And like they're in the desert. And then they meet the Fantastic Four, and I'm like, did they meet them? Have they gone to meet the Fantastic Four? Because the Fantastic Four landed somewhere near them that they bridged that, or are they already someplace farther along that they have met up? Because it seemed like while they're meeting each other for the first time, it sort of felt like you ever like some survival you like Naked in the Frame. You ever watch like if you ever watch that show, and they're different versions of it. But when they drop people off in different places and they finally meet and they're just like, oh my god, there's somebody else is here. Oh, that's awesome. That's what it felt like here, that it was the Wakandans and I guess Namor and his people. But the Wakandans walking and they run into them, and it's kind of like it seemed like, oh, there's other people here too, or whoever they are, because they're not gonna know who they are in comparison to the Avengers or whatever. So anyway, that I was like, that looks really cool. That looks intriguing. Of where and what, like how are they? Because we don't know how the Fantastic Four get here at all. We've seen that part in Thunderbolt. Fantastic Four itself doesn't lead to anything to show us anything. So how and are they here? Why necessarily? Like we feel like, yeah, we know it's for Doomsday, but we don't know if it's because of Doom. We don't know if it's because of what, actually, to be honest. It could be some encouraging that they do all this other stuff and they realize that Doom behind it or whatever, something like that. I don't think it's gonna be outright just told to us or said. But anyway, that was the teasers. I was like, apparently also there's something where like because it's the Russo brothers and they always do some cryptid shit, that there's something with the numbers and all that other stuff that you got to look into, figure it out, piece it, jangle it, Rubik's cube it, put it together, throw it in the pot, throw it in the pan. There you go. I don't know. So I guess we'll see what that has to do. But anyway, like I said, I will say the trailers got better from each one, from 1 to 4, from Steve to Shuri. They both start with S's. It gotten better and actually built a lot more intrigue this way through the leaks that they've done. Anyway, I was like, look, I'm always sort of excited. I'm never going to sugarcoat how I feel about this, if it's going to be good or not or whatever. I think this has a chance to be, but that's because it's going to be the big budget, crazy, cuckoo, everybody in it movie that I don't think that it really can fail. And I was like, yeah, you get what I'm saying. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. Appreciate it. Peace out. I'm out.